New World Order, you underestimated the people. You took a gamble and you lost.
Okay, we don't like this. Okay, well then we're going to do this. And that is just how it's going to be.
Evidence brought to light that there is a corrupt officer, or that officer did shoot that kid on purpose.
I don't care how I look, I don't care how I sound, I don't care what the beat is. I just care the message gets across.
What's up, everyone? This is Tin Man with the Resistance,
And I'm Lucid.
and this is a continuation of our last weekly report. This is not an official weekly report. We're just continuing our debate from our last taping.
And if you're listening to this, you're living on a flat earth.
Yeah, we are continuing on with our flat Earth discussion. Why? Because it's just too damn funny. You know, especially with all the feedback we've been getting regarding this topic. I mean, I've got this guy on here right now. He just posted a comment saying, "Go away, troll," after I called him out on his bullshit. He was asking, do I even know what Antarctica is? And I said, it's a continent. You know, which is what it's classified as. You know, a landmass covered in ice. But it's a fucking continent. And he goes, no, it's not. That's not what it is. I'm like, well, then what the fuck is it? And he's like, well, look it up. I'm like, well, I don't want to look it up. I don't want to hear what everybody else has to say on the matter. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions.
Right.
And I get done, you know, what do you got? What do you got? And he just keeps beating around the bush. I'm like, so you got nothing? And he goes, go away, troll. I'm like, go away? This is my fucking channel, motherfucker. Tell me to get off my own channel. Who the fuck you think you are, homie?
I just think it's funny how
you gotta run your mouth, step up to the plate, and hit a fucking home run here.
I like how that guy on that video we just watched was saying how most flat Earth theorists are also climate theorists too, like conspiracy theorists. Like they think that climate change has something to do with, you know, government and you know, all kinds of weird shit.
Well, there are numerous possibilities, and some may be true, and some may be bullshit.
Well, I'm just saying how it coincides with how they coincide with each other, and they're using the climate change to prove their flat Earth theory.
Well, the thing is, the flat Earth theory is just that, a theory. And it brings to the table a lot of decent arguments. Now, there's a lot of good arguments to this theory. Nobody will argue that. But where science really comes into play, and this is what is not being taken into account, is that in science, as I've mentioned before, you've got the three basic steps. You've got the theory,
hypothesis.
You got your hypothesis, testing, and conclusion. Okay, and right now you only have the hypothesis based on speculatory research. Okay, and the thing is, most of these people are only looking at one side of the spectrum, going, "Oh, well, this makes sense, so it must be true."
And it doesn't make perfect sense. It just makes some sense. Like, you know, I could say, well, everybody sees things differently, you know, and which is true, but it doesn't matter. You take a picture of Chris, it's a picture of Chris, no matter who sees it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's true. Everybody sees Chris to look differently. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I mean, that's why we have descriptions of people, is because they all pretty much look the same to everybody. It's like, we all know Chris has short hair. We all know he has a goatee. We all know he looks like a goofball. You know? I mean, we can tell that by looking at him. You know, we all see him differently, but he's the same person, you know, all the time. He doesn't deviate from the way he looks.
You can make a CGI model of me, or you can
take a picture,
or
video,
or whatever. It's going to be the same damn thing.
Right.
And in retrospect, you know, people want to bitch, oh, NASA's lying about this and that. Okay, maybe so. But in the grand fucking scheme of things, where in the shit fuck does it matter? Okay, what does it matter whether the Earth is flat or a spinning globe in space? Where is this remotely important in comparison to things like government corruption, economic collapse, social instability. All these things that are going on in the world, and you're focusing on something that is of little to no importance.
Well, it kind of is. You're talking about government conspiracy and stuff like that. If the government has conspired against us and the Earth does turn out to be flat, which we all know it's not, by the way, but if it does turn out to be flat and the government has lied to us about it, dude, I mean, that's the biggest, government cover-up in history, first off. On top of the fact that they're claiming that even the moon is flat.
Yeah.
And that is just a disc that spins around the top portion. Okay, here's the dinner plate, and here's the disc, and it just spins around the top. And that's what I want to know. Where does the fucking moon go when the sun's out, and where does the sun go when the moon's out? On a flat Earth theory.
Yeah, I mean,
wouldn't you be able to see them both at the same time?
Yeah, regardless of where it is,
right.
Unless it's like say that your cup here is the fucking flat Earth. Unless the sun's way the fuck out here off camera, the other side of the Earth probably won't see it, but their model is saying that it's rotating around the Earth.
Well, we even debunked that last.
And how do you get seasons? Let me borrow your cup again. How the fuck does that work? If the sun's in the same fucking position, just circling around every fucking day.
How do you get seasons?
How do you get seasons? Is it like a cyclone effect? It's going up, and then it's going down, it's going up, and it's going down.
And how does that work?
Yeah, exactly. How would that work when different areas of the planet have different seasons?
And not just that, according to, studies and, actually practical theory and things that have been put into practice in space, when you throw something up in the air, it continues to go the direction you pushed it because there's no friction, there's no air, there's no, nothing to keep it, no gravity to pull it back down, there's nothing to fucking keep it, from going in that direction. Now, if the sun, like he was saying, was spinning around and going up and then coming down and then going, what is causing it to go up and then come back down? Okay,
that's not a rotation effect. That's a fucking
and it's
off the wall. Woo!
Yeah, and not just that. You're saying that there's no gravity. There's no such thing as gravity. That it's a theory, and that people have used this to help cover up the fact that the Earth is flat by saying that the Earth spins in a globe formation and everything gets sucked to it by centrifugal force. If there's no gravity, how does the sun go up and down? If that's how you're going to describe climate change
what is causing
and seasons.
Yeah, what causes the sun to flow into this pattern?
I want to know why it's hot in the summer and cold in the winter. If that's the case, I really do. I want to know how they how they explain seasons.
Well,
I mean,
it would have to be the cyclone effect. But at which point, how is it one area can have summertime and it'd be wintertime in another area at the same time?
Right. I could tell you.
It would be the same. Theoretically speaking, would it not be the same season
everywhere?
Everywhere, if that were the case?
Yeah. The seasons are not explained in this whole thing. I haven't heard one person talk about seasons, which is a good point that you brought up, by the way. But I heard this guy talking that, that there's places on Earth that have, 40 days and 40 nights, or 60 days and 60 nights of, daylight and nighttime. And in Antarctica,
the Arctic Circle
has
about 6 months of darkness
and 6 months of daylight. Well, he was trying to explain, well, how is this true? He showed some time lapse footage on a webcam from wherever he was at, wherever they had a station at, and it showed the sun passing along, kind of an outwardly circle almost. Well, the way that I would say that that's the case is that our Earth isn't, and before I say this, he was saying that if we have a North Pole and a South Pole, that they would be the same thing, only opposite of each other on the globe. No, that's not the case, because our Earth isn't up and down straight. It's actually tilted on a fucking axis, which is what gives us those fucking several months of sunlight and several months of day or nighttime in certain places on the world. Our axis on our Earth is not straight up and down like like what he's saying, that they would be exact opposites. No, they wouldn't be, because the Earth is tilted. This is tilted, towards the sun at certain parts of the year, and this is tilted towards, away from the sun at certain parts of the year. And that's just how it goes, because the Earth rotates around the world, around the sun. And that's how we get our seasons, is that the Earth is going around the sun. And one revolution around the sun constitutes as a year, which is where we get our 4 seasons from. And as we turn, and the Earth is on an axis, here's the sun.
Axis changes.
The axis changes. Our Earth stays the same, but the axis changes. The axis stays tilted the way it's tilted, but it changes in correlation to the sun.
Yep. So half the year, the southern hemisphere is closer to the sun, and the opposite with the northern hemisphere.
Right, which is what gives us our day and night. Okay, pretend like my finger is here. No, we'll do it like this. Pretend like this pencil is the Earth. Okay, it's tilted. Okay, my fist is the sun. Okay, right now it would be the northern hemisphere that gets a lot of sun. It's hot up there, and the southern hemisphere would get less heat, less sun. Okay, which constitutes this as the 6 months. From here to here would constitute as the 6 months of darkness. Okay, as it continues to rotate around the sun. Okay, now the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, and the northern hemisphere away. Okay, that would give us from here to here our 6 months of sunlight, which makes more sense.
Yeah.
And we've already proven gravity and this whole magnetic theory about us sticking to the Earth. Yeah. We're not sticking to the Earth because of magneticism. We're sticking to the Earth because it is pulling us in by centrifugal force.
Yeah. It's just really silly to me. The whole damn thing is silly, and people are really getting upset about this. That's one thing I do not understand. You and I, we sit here and laugh our fucking asses off. Why? Because it's so minuscule and so fucking stupid that in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't matter. I mean, I'm more concerned with what's going on the planet rather than what the planet
is doing. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
we keep discussing this, and we actually did a 2-part video, and you keep saying that. I'm actually concerned more about what's going on the planet than what the planet is actually looking like, and now we're doing a second part to this.
Just because I think it's funny.
You keep saying
I like being a dick. I like pissing people off. We've already lost a great deal of subscribers because of this Flat Earth video that we did. And I say let's just keep going with it, just to see how many more people we can piss off. Because why do we do what we do, Lucy? Honestly.
To wake people up.
To wake people up, to get people thinking.
Right.
And just because you're, quote, awake...
Doesn't mean you know everything.
It doesn't mean you're thinking outside the box. And this whole Flat Earth thing is very reminiscent to closed-minded Christian theology and Christian mindsets. People don't think outside the box. They're going, it's my way or the fucking highway. I'm right and you're wrong without anything to back it up. And it's fucking insane. In fact, I think I'm going to start fucking around more on my LDS channel, start making some videos there. Just so I could have some fun and nitpick this Christian theology, people not thinking outside the box.
Well, even then at that point too, with that mentality, the flat Earth theorists are going to say, well, how come you're not thinking outside the box with the possibility of the Earth being flat?
I do. I very much do. I look at both sides of the argument. The fact of the matter is, there is more evidence to support one than the other, and there's just too many holes in the flat Earth theory. I mean, in doing your research in whether you're going to subscribe to one notion or the other, you've got to look at both sides of the spectrum. And that's the problem. They're only looking at one side of the spectrum. They're going, okay, a lot of this makes sense, so it must be true. Okay, let me know when Santa Claus comes down your chimney, okay?
Right, exactly. Exactly. What were some of the other things he was discussing on that video? He was talking about like the fact that plane flights aren't flying over Antarctica. Well, here's my argument with that. Okay, when you're taking a plane flight from California to Australia, okay, you don't fly south to Antarctica and then over Antarctica. No, when you take a fucking plane flight from California to Australia, you take a plane flight across the continents, okay, where you can see land masses and you can make landings if you need to make an emergency landing. You know, despite the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans,
where there's
so on and so
airports
forth.
and shit set up to where you can actually
Right.
get help.
Right, and where you
And
can
it's
get
a high
help.
volume traffic lane.
Right, so you would take your plane flight across the continents. It's a safety thing. It makes sense. Okay, landmarks in case your GPS fucks up. You're not lost over sea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With no
and
landmarks.
if you crash or you have to make an emergency landing, you're at least landing in the ocean where it's going to be somewhat warm. There's going to be semi-stable weather patterns. Whereas if you're flying over the South Pole, it's a fucking desolate wasteland there.
Yeah, you're more than likely gonna die if you crash in the South Pole.
We're talking sub-zero temperatures, unusual weather patterns. I mean, you are going to be just hit. You're going to be dead
and it's
within
not
a couple hours.
and it's not just the weather conditions and that kind of thing either. I mean, the injuries that you would sustain from a crash in a region like that would probably kill you. And if you're not dead, you would die from infection because you wouldn't get to a hospital fast enough. Not to mention the wild animals and polar bears and shit like that are there, you know. And then not to mention wolves.
I don't know. Are there polar bears and shit in the South Pole?
I don't know.
All north.
I don't know. But
all I
know is that there.
I know there's penguins down there.
There's penguins. So if there's penguins, there's all kinds of marine life.
Yeah, the robot penguins are going to get them. That's why they don't go down there. The robot penguins are going to get them.
So I would have to, you know, take into consideration all the animals and shit that are down there. You know, the possibility of you getting fucking eaten, okay, is probably a good chance. Not to mention navigating in a place like that would be slim to none because there's no landmarks, definitive landmarks. To top it off, you know, even if you were able to you know, navigate that area, you would get something that's called snow blindness. If it happened during the summertime down there, and it was during the time when you got the sunlight down there, you would get what's called snow blindness, and it's from the sun reflecting off the snow into your eyes. It would cause you to go blind. Okay, so you would probably more than likely die. I mean, you might
you'd have to have those Riddick goggles.
Something like that.
The
the polarized, you know, sunglasses. Anyway, so you got all these factors to take into consideration about where you fly and why you fly these directions. Also, a plane may start leaking fuel. It may need to make an emergency landing. You know, I mean,
and there's nothing down there.
There's nothing down there. There's hardly any people down there. So you would fly over the continents. You'd probably fly into, you know, Florida or I mean not Florida, Japan, and probably fly south from there. That would be my roundabout way of doing it, or
wherever you start, wherever you end.
Yeah,
really
whatever.
Matter,
yeah, you would probably fly over the continents and then make a small straight shot from, you know, the lower portion of the continent to, you know, the upper portion of Australia. Yeah. That just makes sense. You don't fly roundabout fucking down to Antarctica and over to Australia, and you can argue the fact, well, why don't you just fly, you know, northwest around the world and get there? Well, it's probably a longer flight, and, you know, once again, you're flying over nothing but ocean, and if your GPS goes out, you have no definitive landmarks to, you know, justify where you're at, and, you know, I mean, you can guess, but, you know, Australia is a small landmass in amidst an entire ocean, and you could miss it. I mean, I'm not saying you would. It is a fucking massive thing, but I'm just saying, like, it is a small portion of something in the middle of the ocean that you could miss if you weren't navigating properly, or, you know, your GPS
you're off by a fraction of an inch. You're going to wind up hundreds of thousands of miles away.
Right.
You're going to wind up someplace totally fucking different.
Right, exactly. So, there's my theory on the planes that fly over the South Pole. There's just no reason to fly over the South Pole, which is why, you know, you don't see a lot of chartered flights fucking flying over the South Pole. The commercial flights, rather. Not chartered flights. Commercial flights. That's why commercial flights fly over the United States and into other continents and other side, areas because of the landmass. Now, you go into chartered flights, okay? Now, they're talking about how one type of fucking person owns all these the one type of airline that'll take you on a safari down into the Arctic, and how they got that corner lined up, so it's a big conspiracy. Well, you know what? South America has all the fucking bananas, so it's a conspiracy. Or Colombia has all the coffee, so it's a fucking conspiracy. These things grow in certain places for a fucking reason. Okay, we can't grow bananas in California. I mean, we could try, but it probably wouldn't work out very good. These things, these different things that we have from all over the world are there for a reason. Now, you could even argue the fact that this charter, charges too much for the thing, so they're overcharging for something that they're not even proving that they're really taking you to, or all this stuff. Okay, well, if that's the case, then
charter it yourself and put it to the test.
Yeah, charter your own plane with your own pilot of your choosing and put it to the test yourself. Or you could complain about fucking Walmart. Okay, Walmart pretty much corners the market on department store goods. They sell food. They sell clothes, they sell electronics, they sell everything from A to Z at Walmart for the most part, minus some specialty items and stuff like that. Everything from alcohol to baby diapers to electronics to car supplies, groceries, all kinds of stuff, okay? Now, how come there hasn't been really any complaints from these theorists about Walmart, but they're complaining about that chartered flight thing, cornering the market? Walmart is the biggest national conglomeration in the United States.
Well, Microsoft is the biggest distributor of software products.
Right. So is it a conspiracy?
Yeah. I mean, shit.
Columbia has all the copy.
Cisco, Linux, and a few others that are out there, so that there's not a monopoly on it.
Yeah. Iraq has all the fucking sand, so it's a conspiracy. Anyway. I don't understand.
I had to choke back a laugh on that one.
I don't understand how these people could even use that as an example. That makes no sense.
Well, like I've been saying, if you really want to prove this theory true or false, charter a flight to the Arctic Circle and travel from one end to the other in a straight line. Go straight through it and see where it takes you. So you wouldn't get to the other side of the Arctic Circle.
You wouldn't even have to charter a flight for even far. You could go to Antarctica, okay? Charter a flight there in Antarctica to fly you over the South Pole and see what happens. See, you're gonna go south, and then once you hit the South Pole, you're gonna start going north. I mean, you'll see the difference on your compass. Just take a compass with you and look at it.
Yeah, just start heading south, and when it says you're heading north, bada bing, bada boom. I mean, it's going to change instantaneously.
For the most part.
Within a fraction of a second.
Right. So, I mean, it won't take much. I mean, you could probably charter a flight from, Antarctica, one spot to the other spot.
They would probably say that if they did that, they would probably say they wound up in a different dimension. that they crossed.
And now here's
the threshold of World's End and wound up in an alternate dimension.
Okay, so here's their theory on North Pole, South Pole too. Okay, they're saying there's no South Pole because everything's magnetic north. Okay, this is something I wanted to point out. Okay, now in the Bible, Jesus says he will separate your sin as far as east is from west. Do you know why he said that? The reason he said that is because if you travel east, you'll always be going east. If you travel west, you'll always be going west, no matter where you are. But if you travel north, eventually it gets to a point to where you will be traveling south again. And then once you hit the South Pole, it'll be where you're traveling north again. That's why Jesus said in the Bible, he will separate your sins as far from east as from west. It's because there is no distance further away from east than west.
That's a good analogy. I never really thought of that.
That's why he didn't say north from south, and the reason that being is because once you hit the North Pole, you're going to start heading south again, meaning you're going to backslide.
There's eventually an end.
Yeah, there's eventually an end to, life with Christ. Well, now you could say that I'm making this an analogy about the Bible. Well, it's not really about the Bible. It's about physics, okay? If you travel east, you're always traveling east until you turn around. If you travel west, you're always traveling west until you turn around. But if you go north to the North Pole, eventually you'll be heading south again. And the reason that is because our magneticism and our thing does point to north.
Yeah.
And that's easily tested as well. Go to the North Pole. Walk where it's showing magnetic north until it shows you you're walking magnetically south. You know, the red dial on the damn compass will always point magnetic north because that's just where it fucking points to. And then it would be the same principle on the South Pole too. Once you hit that threshold, the compass will spin. It's a simple and easy thing that you guys could do to test it yourselves if you really wanted to. Instead of theorizing and bashing the proof and evidence that we already have set up and put together, you know, confirming that we live on a globe. And now also one more thing, and then you can say what you're going to say, dude. I'll even shut up for the rest of the fucking thing.
I'll believe that in a million years.
What? That I'll shut up?
Yeah.
But now I forget what I was going to say, so go ahead. Thank you, asshole.
You're welcome. Well, basically what I was going to say is, you know, they say NASA is lying about everything and all that shit. Granted, the government and military lie about everything, okay? They're going to lie. But that's not to say there's not some truth in it. Now, here's the kicker. You have all this space exploration of other solar systems and whatnot operating within our galaxy. And the identification of other planets, even planets similar in nature to Earth, as far as, you know, the ability to sustain life.
Right. The composition, makeup.
Now, if the government and the military wants to cover up this whole notion that there's life on other planets and all that shit, why would they not say that the Earth is flat? Why wouldn't they just go along with the flat Earth theory and suggest that all the stars in the sky are just little lights, part of this fucking dome thing that we're under, rather than saying that there are other planets and other solar systems and all this other shit.
Here's a question to your question.
That there may in fact be other life.
Here's a question to your question. Is it easier to believe that everything in the world has happened by accident, or that there is an intelligent form of being that has created us? What is more likely?
Chaos theory in relation to intelligent design.
Right. What is the more likeliest scenarios? That
intelligent design.
Exactly, because the exact molecule was in the exact spot at the exact moment it needed to be, and the exact temperature and genetic makeup of its surroundings, and the exact amount of electrical charge and bacteria and all this stuff. It had to be perfect. And then a lightning bolt struck it perfectly. And all of a sudden,
I still say God.
Single cell organisms.
I still say God farted and lit a match.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's more likely that you'll win the Powerball tomorrow, Chris, than that happened. You know what I mean?
I didn't win last night.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's more likely, you know, if you win the fucking Powerball, you're gonna be like, oh shit, maybe flat Earth theory is right. You know what I mean? But,
I don't know.
But like what?
Sway it in my favor.
But the thing of it is that, you know, oh hey, if you win the Powerball, we can find out whether the world is round or not.
Yeah, I mean, we'll put that theory to the test. But then again, they wouldn't believe us because they'll think we're part of the big conspiracy.
Right. Because now we have a lot of money, and so they've bought us off. That makes no sense.
Yeah, buy me off. Like
yeah, please.
Yeah,
please.
Like my good friend Ted DiBiase always says, and yes, I am friends with $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. You know, he's always been fond of saying everybody has a price.
Hey, I've been saying that forever.
The only problem is there's no amount of money you could pay him to shut up during a 3-hour sermon. Sorry, Ted, I love you, but you gotta take an intermission, man. You can't go 3 hours straight on your sermons, brother.
But so that being said, too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is more likely to be a scenario that the Earth is round and that all the little lights in the sky are actually stars and other galaxies, trillions of light years away, or that the government built this fucking dome and put lights in the skies for us without us knowing. I mean, when did all this happen? I'm just curious. When did all this happen, and how come we don't see construction zones or construction sites?
Oh no!
And
it's not the government who made the dome. It's the higher power or God or whatever you want to believe in that made this dome. The world has always been flat, encased in this fucking dome thing. That's that's flat Earth theory.
Well, how come when we look in a telescope we can't see the dome or reflections off the dome? If it's made of glass or something see-through, you would see reflections. And not to mention...
Yeah, you'd be able to see these other planets. You'd be able to see all this other shit.
Well, not even other planets. What I'm saying is, like, when light reflects off a glass, you could tell that there's glass in the way.
Yeah.
No matter how clear and how clean it is. I'm sorry, but unless you're not paying attention, you could run into a glass door or something. But for the most part, if you're looking, you can see that, okay, for instance... This is clear and it's see-through, but you can see that there's light shining off of it. Okay? Now, if the sun was on the inside of the dome, which is what they're theorizing, right? It's on the inside or the outside?
It's on the inside.
Okay. If the sun was...
I may be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, either way, it works for my argument here. If the sun was on the inside, there would be a reflection of light on the inside of the dome as it's exiting the dome area. Just as you could see shiny parts on the top here of this plastic, Halloween prop. Okay? Now, if it was on the outside, you would see the same thing. Only, it would cause massive amounts of humidity. Okay? So, because there is water in here, and as you know, if you put water in a jar and put it in the sun...
The greenhouse effect.
Yeah, the greenhouse effect for the most part. Okay? And now you could even take that to argument. These flat earth theorists are going to take that to argument and be like, well, that's how come the global warming is happening. That's why it's happening. Well, how old do they say that the Earth is?
I'm not sure.
That's actually a pretty relevant question.
Yeah, that
even if they say,
I don't think that's something that's really been addressed too much. At least it hasn't come across my table yet.
Okay, so even if they say that the Earth, according to some people, they think it's only 30,000 years old, okay, which they think is only as old as humanity.
Yeah.
Because in the Bible somewhere it says God created the heavens and the earth, and then the sixth day created Adam, which means he
the few thousand Earth theory.
Yeah. Okay, so if the Earth is 30,000 years old, how come it's just barely becoming a problem with global warming when I can take a mason jar, put a couple sprays of water in it, put it in the sun, and it becomes a fucking human mess in, less than 2 hours?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be the same
whether
theory.
It's 65 million years or a few days.
Right, exactly. It's still going to be a humid mess.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it.
Another thing I want to bring up, this whole dome thing. If the Earth is the center of the universe.
Oh yeah. I know what you're going to say.
The universe and all the stars and the sun and everything else that we can see in the sky are just a part of this fucking dome thing. Where the fuck do asteroids come into play?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
What's beyond the dome and the Earth? If this is the Earth and you got the dome, what's beyond that? Is God just sitting out there watching us, and Jesus is sitting there throwing dirt clods at us and shit? Where do these meteorites come from that keep striking the Earth? I mean, it's obviously not a part of this magical dome.
Right. And what do they believe this dome is made out of? Do they believe it's made out of some sort of...
It's an atmospheric dome. It's not solid. It's kind of like water. It's not solid, but it's not non-existent either.
Oh, so kind of like after you eat Del Taco?
That was a really bad experience. Especially this morning.
Or that burrito you had with or no, it wasn't burrito, it was the fucking, the beefaroni with the hot sauce.
No! I will never do that again. For anybody who's wondering what the fuck he's talking about, years ago,
Tangent time.
I was working at a factory doing assembly work, and during lunch I had a thing of Chef Boyardee ravioli, and one of my coworkers dared me to put Tapatio on it. Well, me being a stupid kid, I did it, and I spent the rest of the work day in the bathroom.
They got fired for it.
I did. Well, that kind of happens when you can't do your job. Sorry.
Sorry, it was either shit my pants or, whatever.
Yeah. So that's that. But there's just so many holes in this flat earth theory thing. So I have to ask the big question. Why is this so damned important to everybody? Is it you are just you feel so insignificant that you
feel so significant.
Significant?
I feel so significant, Chris.
Yeah. Do these people feel so insignificant?
You almost said it again.
Yeah. Do they feel so insignificant that that they have to adopt this theory to make themselves feel more important in the universe?
Yeah, they think we're the center of the universe, right?
That's what the basis of this is. It's because, like Christianity's original notions, humanity is the center of the universe. There is no other life.
Christianity believes that?
Yeah, that was the majority of their belief system pre-1492. That was their whole big thing, why the world was flat and the earth revolved around the sun, that the earth and humanity was the center of the universe. People don't seem to understand that just because the planet itself is not the center of the universe, that you as a human being have any less value, whether on earth in a secular value or to God. They don't understand that, just because the earth may be round, that doesn't make you any less important in your daily life and in this world or to God. God created you regardless of how he did everything is irrelevant. You're never going to understand the mysteries of God and how he put it all together or why until you die. But, as of right now, it really doesn't matter. You're here. God loves you. That's all that matters, right? That should matter. It doesn't matter why God loves you. You don't have to be the center of the universe for God to love you, okay? He created you. Okay? That's just that. It doesn't matter where you are in the universe. God created you. He loves you, okay? End of fucking story. So, in retrospect, in relation to all the other shit that's going on in the world, all the corruption, all the murder, all the evil shit that's taking place on Earth, why is the flat Earth theory so damned important? And if it is that important to you, why not take the steps to prove this theory or disprove it once and for all?
It's because of Jesus, baby Jesus, black Jesus, and Santa Christ.
Like I said, let me know when Santa Claus comes down your chimney. But in all seriousness here, if you want to prove this theory,
go prove it.
Go fucking prove it. Head straight south until you either get to the end of the world or you start heading north again. Pure and fucking simple. That's the simplest method you can do. Or if you want, save up your money, build a fucking rocket, and shoot yourself into outer space and take a picture on your cell phone.
Or don't. Nobody cares.
Yeah. I mean, NASA can't exactly hold a monopoly on that shit.
Right.
So fucking do it.
You just have to make sure you meet all, requirements, the safety features, and system checks and shit like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'll probably have the Air Force working with you on this project, which I'm sure nobody would have any problem with. And if they do, you could still launch weather balloons. You can still have satellites launched that you control. Okay, NASA can't fuck with that shit.
Or you could build yourself a modern-day Tower of Babel and just climb yourself up to fucking...
No Tim and a Groot!
And then climb yourself up to the top of it and snap a picture.
No Tim and a Groot.
Tim and a Groot.
Yeah, Devil May Cry 3, that was based on the Tower of Babel. You remember playing Devil May Cry 3?
I do, but I don't remember the story.
No.
That was a long-ass time ago, bro.
Dante's brother
Here we go.
resurrected that tower, and it was a portal to the underworld. Essentially, the tower was the gateway to the spirit world, which is the basic concept for the Tower of Babel. You know, it didn't necessarily just have to keep going up and up and up. Maybe it was just a system set up to open a portal to another dimension. And you're looking at me like a jackass. Okay? Here's the video game, Mark. Looking at me like a jackass.
I just am... okay, I'm curious. Here's another point I'd like to bring up. If the Earth is flat, what's its thickness? And if it's not that thick, how come we haven't dug through to the other side of it?
Yeah.
Because if gravity doesn't exist, then there's no such thing as compression, at which point you can dig through the Earth and not have to worry about being crushed. So how come we haven't dug through the Earth all the way to the other side? I mean, how far down have we gone? 8 miles, you said?
8 miles.
Yeah. So we've gone 8 miles into the Earth. How come we haven't dug beyond that? And how come if there's no gravity when you go underwater, and we haven't discovered the entire depths of the sea yet, when you go underwater, you get crushed at certain depths. It's called crush depth.
Yeah. They're not taking all these things into consideration. And this is stuff that needs to be taken into consideration. Like I said, you need to look at all angles here. You need to look at all the facts, not just the ones you like. That's science. Pure and fucking simple. Okay? If you're gonna play scientist,
then play scientist. Go the distance or go home. Go the distance or go home. Or shut the fuck up. One of the two. Or one of the three, because, you know, I to be honest, dude, I think this is going to be our last
Step up
video.
to the plate or go sit in the stands.
Right. I'm going to say this last thing, and then I'm pretty much done. I don't really have anything else more to say.
I don't really have anything else.
But
I mean, everybody else.
If you're not going to prove it, and you're just going to theorize, just shut the fuck up. You know, at least we have proof of our theories and facts and evidence to support our theories and our beliefs. Where the fuck is yours? All you're doing is trying to debunk things that prove our theory instead of proving yours.
Yeah, and the arguments are so vastly minuscule. And you know what?
Yeah.
Let's level here. I'm not trying to knock anybody's belief system. We're just saying...
Well, I am. If you're fucking believing in the flat earth theory, you're a fucking dumbass. There's facts and evidence to support that the Earth is round, but you don't have evidence and facts to support that the Earth is flat other than your own crazy fucking theory.
Yeah. You know, get something beyond theory. You know, it's not about talking shit on what somebody else chooses to believe. You know, you can believe whatever the fuck you want.
Spaghetti.
But when it comes to science and stuff that can be proven or disproven, fucking prove or disprove it. Shit or get off the fucking pot. Okay? Don't talk about it. Fucking be about it.
Yeah, your arguments waste...
Think outside the fucking box.
You're wasting your time on arguments that are trying to disprove facts and theory that we have already proven to support that the Earth is round by trying to debunk that instead of proving that your theory is correct.
Yeah.
Instead of going and doing the research, which I don't think anybody's going to ever take the time to do unless you win the Powerball or I do. Because I think I would do it just to fucking spit in their faces.
I'll go play the Powerball on Wednesday, man.
But, you know, instead of using your time and your effort and your argument to prove your theory, all you're doing is trying to disprove ours, which your arguments, as Tin Man has stated, are fucking minuscule at best.
And
Third grade.
fundamentally
Third grade level at best. You guys, half the time you don't make any sense. The most intelligent one that I've seen so far was that one that we watched today. The guy that took the picture with the camera, the time-lapse photo of the sun in Antarctica. At least he was trying to prove something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was using what he had, and, bravo to you, God.
Yeah.
I don't have any...
Yeah, nobody's knocking anybody for trying to prove this theory true or false. Okay? And if it can be proved fact and made into a scientific law, then great. I will accept that. But I've got to see the evidence. The research has to be done, and a solid conclusion and determination has to be made.
Right, agreed.
Until then, it's just speculation. And don't waste my time with speculation.
Right.
Okay, I don't deal in speculation. I don't deal in promises or words. Okay, I deal in facts, evidence, and results.
Right.
That's what I deal with.
Same here.
That's why I don't like getting into the whole aliens or reptilians and shit. Okay, because that's speculation until you drop me a fucking gray, the body of a gray, or a body of a reptilian on this fucking table.
It's just theory.
I don't care. Or until I can talk to one of these creatures and they tell me straight up that they're involved in this shit, it doesn't matter. I don't deny the idea that there is other intelligent life in the universe or even living here on Earth.
Yeah, I don't. And see, as a
far
Christian,
as the whole conspiracy involved behind that, it really doesn't matter to me.
as a
I
Christian,
see a problem. I don't care about what is about. I don't care about the finer details. I just see the fact that there's a fucking problem and it needs to be fixed.
and as a Christian, I don't believe we are the only intelligent life in the universe. I don't. Or the, multiverse or whatever you want to fucking call it, because I'm sure there's more than just one universe out there. Even.
Yeah.
I would
that's
just
a
say,
whole other thing in itself.
yeah, and I would have to say that there are other intelligent lives in the universe. We can't be the only ones.
Well, they sure as hell ain't in Washington.
This is true. But my point being is that we are not the only intelligent life. I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe God would make one planet with one type of intelligent life and not do something somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or maybe there are other gods doing the same thing on other planets. Who fucking
or
knows?
whatever. Yeah.
It could be any number of infinite possibilities. But until you reach that point, what does it fucking matter? Focus on the here and the now and the real fucking present issues.
President issues?
Yeah,
we have those too.
Yeah.
We have president issues too.
Thank you for making that pun for me. Well, like I was saying, I think there are more important things to focus our attention on. And if this is vastly important to you, do tell us why. Why is this so damn important? And tell us what you're going to do to prove this.
Yeah, to prove your theory, not to disprove our factual evidence and proof
And
that we
don't sit
have.
there and troll and do all this shit.
No, troll if you want to.
It's a waste of your fucking time, and it's not going to help your argument.
Right.
You're welcome to troll if you want to. You're welcome to whine and bitch and all you want. I just sit back and laugh. Okay, it really doesn't bother me. Okay, I'm not going to lose 6,000 subscribers overnight. And especially over something like this. And so I really don't care. Troll, whine, bitch, all you fucking want. But if you really want to back your shit up,
Let's see some evidence.
let's see some evidence.
Proving your theory, not disproving ours.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've shown we've done
take the
hand
steps.
models and all kinds of shit to prove our shit, but not to disprove yours. We're stating, well, if the Earth was round, this is why this does this. With the tilted axis, we did that. Yeah, and we even demonstrated your stuff too, how the Earth is flat and it revolves around here, and we were asking questions. Why? We weren't trying to bash your shit more than we were.
Yeah, we're trying to prompt thinking here. And that's what science is. That's what all logic and reasoning is based off of, is thinking. And it's not just thinking inside your box. You gotta get outside your box. You gotta look at all angles. You gotta...
I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
No. I'm just playing. No, I'm just saying, dude, like, you're prompt thinking. I'm like, I forgot what I was going to say.
You got to think outside the box. You got to explore all possibilities. And I'm not above exploring the flat Earth theory. But there's got to be some real science behind it. There's got to be some real tests done, not just speculation on this and that, small, minuscule things that really don't fucking matter. It doesn't matter who owns the fucking monopoly on charter flights to the Arctic. It doesn't fucking matter whether you have windows that are visible in a fucking plane or not. None of that shit really touches the issue. It's just minuscule shit.
Well, what they're saying about the windows, dude, just really quick to touch on that topic, is that they're trying to hide shit from us. And if that's the case, the whole aspect of them being charter flights, cornering the monopoly on charter flights in the Arctic, I mean, how many pilots do you know that are going to want to risk their fucking lives to charter flights over the Arctic? I mean, not very many.
Not just that, but the window thing. The photo we saw in that video was only from the front of the plane. You couldn't see behind the wing and the turbine.
Right.
So there could have very well been windows there that either this person making the video didn't see or refused to mention.
Right.
Not knocking anybody's shit here, but you got to explore all possibilities here, and those are real possibilities.
And I would like to see other angles of that plane. And if that is the only type of plane that they use, maybe that's just one type of plane that they use, and that's just to charter flights to places, not to look at the Arctic Circle as they fly over.
Yeah.
Those are different scenarios. I mean, maybe they own several different types of planes for several different types of reasons. Maybe the no windows portion is so that they have just luggage in that plane, and it's the people that charter those flights. They use that plane personally to come back and forth from. They live in New York, right, or something like that.
I forget where they said that.
They live somewhere here in the United States, and they charter flights over the Arctic Circle. So maybe they use one of those planes to bring luggage back and forth, materials back and forth to fix the planes, or shit like that. So maybe that doesn't require windows. And maybe
that's not a plane that they use to
fly over the Arctic.
It's
just a plane that
tours.
Yeah, it's just for personal use for them to fly back and forth home.
Yeah.
And that's a possibility. And I would like to know how many different types of planes they are, how big they are, how much fuel they use. I'd like to know these specs too. Yeah. But it doesn't mean enough to me to go out and do the research. If you would like to, put in your 2 cents and put it into the comments here, that'd be great. But, other than that, I'm not going to look into this anymore. I pretty much have the proof I need.
I think we're done here,
I think I have the proof we need to know that the Earth is round. And by the way, it's not perfectly round, it is oblong. Okay? In fact, if you took the water off the surface of the Earth, it would look like an apple that got eaten to the core and left the outside portions of it. That's what the Earth looks like. In all retrospect. So it's actually not perfectly round, it's just that way because it's the most energy efficient shape that it could possibly take with water on the surface of it. So there you go.
Yeah.
And you can look that up too.
I don't think we've really got anything else to discuss on this. I think we're pretty much done here. So like I said, if you want to really prove this theory and it's that damn important to you, go out and prove it. That's all there is, and then show the evidence. Beyond that, I really don't care. Otherwise, why don't you just tell us why this is so important to you in comparison to all these other issues, such as vaccinations, chemtrails, government corruption, embezzlement, economic collapse, and so on and so forth. Why does this take precedence over all these other issues? That is something that I'd really like to know. Until next time, I'm the Tin Man with the Resistance.
And I'm Lucid.
If you're watching this, regardless of whether you're on a flat Earth or a globe, you are the Resistance.